Hail and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. Today's review album is a little bit peculiar case. Peculiar because the album of the band is quite different from what I've used to get. Then again, I must say there has been a few years span during which I really didn't hear the band. I really didn't listen to any of their releases, so I don't even know when and why they decided to change so much. So the band in question is Ewig Frost, and album is called Ain't No Saint. Quite rhyming. Now, if you already get a feeling from the images and looks on the album that this is not black metal anymore, you are quite right. Now, the thing here is, when I heard the band for first time, some 10 years and more ago, it was indeed black metal. Very generic kind of black metal, but black metal nevertheless. And that was those were the early recordings of the band, and since that, a lot has changed. Now, I think even Metal Archives is a little bit lacking behind of the information because, well, you will soon see, but it lists a little bit different what I would describe this album to be. This is less than 30 minutes of music, which then again is very, very fitting for the style. And the style, now let me think about it, how to put it in a simple way. It's rock and roll meeting metal music, meeting punk, meeting crust, meeting blues, meeting who knows what. It's kind of like ex-black metal trying to sound a little bit like Motorhead, but not quite right. So it's kind of a hard cookie to crack in that sense. Now, this band started in 2003 in Vienna, Austria, so it's not like these guys are newbies or anything like that. And the ones that I was referring to are 2007 release, the first album Blue, Septime Winters, and Rust EP that came after that. Both were like okay-ish, but nothing phenomenal. So I have no idea how the band changed with Dirty Tales or No Dice, but somewhere along the lines change must have happened because now the genre is called black/speed metal/punk, which isn't exactly true for this album like I just said. But, given that the early albums didn't certainly have punkish or speed metal albums as far as I can remember, and, when I was reading for this review as well, my previous reviews, and I was like, well, I didn't say anything about speed metal or punk. I mean, it's not like I can remember what I was thinking like some 14 years ago. The point here is the band has changed, and I'm not sure if it's for the good or worse or just in neutral direction. Doesn't really matter because obviously what happened in the past is in the past, and now we're focusing on the band's fourth album. Now, as you can see, this track list tells you quite a bit about the length of the songs. 28 minutes, 10 songs. Most of the albums are, well, less than 3 minutes. Well, there are even quite a few less than 2 minutes. So it's very much right to the point. It's kind of a hybrid combination of music. And while it kind of makes sense, it doesn't really help the album because it's not really a good one. Now, the thing is, the band doesn't even know how to decide which direction to go. Do they want to do rock and roll with metal instruments, or is it more like trying to do metal music but incorporate some kind of a rock and roll background, some kind of a punk thing, crust, or who knows what? Now, this doesn't purely sound anything of those, so I would just say this is kind of a metal and rock together. Kind of like what could be described for Motorhead, except that this is nowhere near as good. I mean, the major flaw with this album is it doesn't really have good riffs or good songs. There is nothing, absolutely nothing that is really memorable, in good ways anyway. I mean, you can pretty much figure out, okay, these guys have been listening to their blues, they have been going to kind of a groovy music of the ages or decades past and all that stuff. I mean, it's not like they don't handle their instruments well. It's not like the production is faulty. I mean, those are right there. But when it comes to the thing that actually counts, the music, the songwriting, well, that's something I'm afraid to say isn't really good. Now, this is not an annoying album. It's actually something that you could be listening while sitting in a bar, sipping your cheap lager beer, and it's playing on the background. I could imagine this band fitting very well being in a live situation. You know, the band is playing on the stage, you're sipping your beer with your friends and having good time. This is the kind of stuff that could be played on the radio and nobody would blink an eye. They would be like, okay, rock and roll, kind of a metal, who cares? It's not annoying. Next beer, please. That's it. So it's neither good or bad in essence. But I don't know if that's gonna cut it for so many people. Now, obviously, you might want to check out for yourself. So go ahead and click those links to figure out whether or not this is your cup of tea. This album has been already out since 30th of April 2021, so it's still very fresh, but it's already out. So do what you will with this information, and what can I say? Hope you enjoy it more than I did anyway. See ya, and bye-bye.